Let's get into it because I only got 30 minutes and I would take 3 hours if y'all let me. So let's go. Three of our top attraction marketing strategies that we're going to go over. The first is going to be effective content strategy. Content is why we all here today, right? So we're going to talk about a few things that as a business, how can you make your content a little more strategic? Because principles are something that's in place to keep failure away. Principles keep away failure. So when you have a good foundation on certain principles, that just leads you further to success. We're also going to talk about high converting social video ads, and we're going to talk about something I call opt-in to value, which y'all see it all the time, and it's very effective, and we're going to kind of break that down a little bit. Right? So what does content marketing achieve? Well, the first thing it does, it gets the word out about what you do. Like when I first came into the industry, I started off as a photographer, videographer. I had a long page of 1,000 of these awesome photos, 1,000 videos, and people are still getting my inbox like, so what do you do? That's because I didn't properly translate or communicate what it is that I did. Even though I gave them what I thought was the finished product, I didn't properly communicate that. So content marketing kind of helps you communicate what it is that you do. It also helps your target audience understand your brand and the problem that your business solves. When I asked you to close your eyes and think about that Nike hotel, y'all immediately came up with these ideas of what a Nike hotel would look like. That's because they've communicated to their audience on what their brand stands for, what their brand identity is. Also, it helps build your brand reputation and drive social engagement because your reputation is everything. Like it'll take 50 years to build up your reputation and like 5 minutes to destroy it. So that's something that content marketing can kind of help pour into on a consistent basis. Now let's talk about some steps. The first steps is define your goal. What are you trying to achieve? Literally, when I sit down with any client, that's the first thing we talk about. What's your business goals? Because we don't want to just start turning wheels and the wheels aren't going anywhere. What are we trying to achieve? Because once we understand what we're trying to achieve, we get an idea, okay, everything that we do needs to point back to that goal that we're trying to achieve. What's our key marketing message? Messaging is huge. Your messaging is just as big as the content. What are you saying to them? What keywords are you using? Because as a business, you want to attract a certain demographic to you. And there's certain keywords that hit their ears, that they relate to, that resonate with them, right? Those should be implemented into your messaging. Now, what do you want to be known for by your customers? That Nike hotel, like y'all, they were able to establish what they want you to know them for. So by you coming up with a product that don't even exist, you still knew what it would look like because they have a standard for what they want you to be known for. What's your focus product or service? A lot of time as business owners, we have like a whole handful of service and we just dump them in people's lap. Like just choose something that you want to spend your money on. That's not always the best way. They got something called buyer paralysis. That's when a person has too many options, they're not going to choose anything, right? So content marketing helps you focus on a particular product or service that you'll be able to kind of focus on that so that they understand what your business does on that level. All right, number 2, we have clearly identify your target audience. You spoke on target audience because that's really big. That gives you an understanding of like, what do they want to see? A lot of times when it comes down to content and businesses, we automatically go to what we like when sometimes we're not the ones spending the money on our services. We're not the ones spending the money on our business. A lot of times we have to step outside yourself. Jeff Bezos in his meetings at Amazon, he has this thing where he'll put an empty chair into his business meetings. That empty chair represents the customer. So every time they make a decision on things that they need to do, they point to that empty chair like, okay, well, what do you want? The customer. Because that makes sure that every decision that you make kind of points back to what the customer wants. Because like I said, the number one goal of a business is revenue. That's what I'm here for, to make revenue. Hey, I'm sorry I started preaching to y'all real quick, but that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. All right, even focus on specific segments. Like you don't have to have just one target audience. Like your target audience can be multiple people. It can be multiple demographics. The thing about it being strategic is you create content for each lane of those demographics so that it resonates with whoever you're trying to speak to. All right, number three, you want to examine your competitors' content strategy. That's how I got big in the game. Like I used to work with my clients, and I'll go to brands like YSL, like Burberry, Christian Dior. I go to them, and I'll see what they're doing, and I'll emulate that for my clients. So now my clients is looking like big brands because they have certain things that are in place with their content, with their strategy that looks just like the big brands. That's because I went to my competitors. And keep in mind, I said these big brands. I ain't go to so-and-so around the corner who always watching your content. You hate that she copying your captions. Like, no, we talking about high level, like the highest level. You know, those are the competitors that we're trying to compete with. What does their content do well? How will you differentiate your content? What will make your content stand apart? Let me scroll here. On the left-hand side right here, you have this Nike ad. It has a gymnast do things history could only dream of with a nice little Nike switch. Just do it. That was somebody in the Nike ad department, right? On the right-hand side, you have another image that was taken by a photographer on my team with the caption, "Be visible. It creates opportunity." Nice little Remarkable Six Studios logo on there, right? It was an emulation of a big brand. That was a piece of content, a campaign that we ran that emulated a Nike campaign. So it makes Remarkable Six Studios stand on the same type of presence that a big brand would stand on. So when people come across my content, I get conversations all the time with projects bigger than what I can probably handle, because when they look at how the setup, they're like, this is huge. This is huge. This is big, right? Number four, decide your content type and frequency. Hey, the hardest thing about being consistent is being consistent, right? So a lot of times with the content, we have to create something that's easy for us to put together. If it's too hard, if it's too difficult, if you need a whole production crew, like it's not gonna be consistent. It ain't gonna be consistent on there. So it's like, what type of content are you gonna create that's easy for your lifestyle? And then what type of frequency, because the frequency is important. Your audience wanna we're creatures of habit. We wanna know that, okay, every Tuesday she gonna drop this. Or over after 2 months, we're like, you know what, Eric, I see you put that piece of content out every Friday. You know, that schedule, that frequency keeps people attached, keeps people attracted to your brand. What channels will you use? This goes back to your target audience. Where's your target? If you know you about to sit in front of that camera for 10 minutes, don't put that on Instagram. We don't want to see you talk for 10 minutes. We don't. We don't. Put that on YouTube. Your audience on YouTube would appreciate that content. If we know you just about to jump in the car after you got off work, cut your camera on and give us something that's going to build us up, drop that on Instagram, drop that on Facebook, drop that on TikTok, you know. Understand where your audience is and what channels they're on. That way you kind of get a good idea of what type of content to release to them. And this is a quick tip. I'm a part of a little Facebook segment where they sent me this week, and I added this at the last minute, but posting video reels on your Facebook business page gets you more organic reach than TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And that's because all the creators are on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, so the supply is low. If the supply is low, the demand is high. And to combat that, what they're doing is they're saying, hey, if you're gonna put video reels on your Facebook page, we're gonna show it to more people for you, right? So take advantage of that while it's going. If you have a Facebook business page, put those video contents on there, reach more people, bring more people into your business, okay? High converting social video ads. And this isn't just like social ads that you have to